Book summaries and recommendations by Fkofsky on Channel Fables and Fun by Fkofsky. Hi, everyone. Today, we're diving into the 40 Rules of Love by Turkish novelist Elif Shafak. This novel tells the parallel stories of two individuals, one from the 13th century and one from our own time, whose lives become mysteriously connected. Guided by the teachings of the famous mystic poet Rumi, both characters embark on transformative journeys that explore themes of love, faith, friendship, and self-discovery. If you're curious about a story that blends history, spirituality, and timeless lessons on love, The 40 Rules of Love is a must-read. Let's explore what makes this novel so powerful. If you've heard about this book or you're looking for something smart and meaningful to dive into, check out the link in the description below. If not, well, let's dive deeper.
Welcome to our deep dive. Today it's all about Rumi, the incredible 13th century Persian poet.
Incredible is right.
Yeah, you've given us a really interesting mix of sources here. Excerpts from Elif Shafak's novel, The 40 Rules of Love. And
Oh, I love that book.
yeah,
Yeah,
so good.
it's a good one. And then also some historical background on Rumi and Sufism. So we'll be exploring a few things today. Who Rumi was,
Right.
what made his teaching so enduring, and what we can learn about love and life from all of this.
You know what's really fascinating about this combination of sources? You're on a journey of discovery, just like the character Ella in Shafak's novel.
Oh, yeah.
She stumbles upon this manuscript called Sweet Blasphemy, which tells the story of Rumi and Shams of Tabriz.
Yeah.
And as you delve deeper into these sources, you're experiencing that same sense of uncovering hidden truths and
I love that.
timeless wisdom.
I love how the novel jumps back and forth between Ella's life in the present day and 13th century Konya, where Rumi lived. It's like we're getting two journeys for the price of one. And this parallel structure highlights the universal and timeless nature of Rumi's message.
Right.
His ideas about love transformation and the search for the divine resonate just as strongly today as they did centuries ago.
Absolutely. Speaking of Shams, he's such a mysterious and intriguing character.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, the novel describes him as this radical teacher who drinks wine in the bazaar and challenges religious hypocrisy.
Right.
And he even has this intense confrontation with Rumi, which completely changes Rumi's life.
Yeah, Shams' role in Rumi's life is pivotal.
Right.
Before meeting Shams, Rumi was a respected scholar, but felt a certain emptiness.
Yeah.
Their encounter ignited a spiritual fire in Rumi. It led to a creative outpouring of poetry and the development of the whirling dervishes.
It's interesting that both Ella in the novel and Rumi's son, Sultan Walid, struggle with the unconventional bond between Rumi and Shams.
Right.
Yeah. They face societal judgment for this relationship. And it seems to mirror the challenges many people face even today when they step outside of societal norms.
This highlights another important aspect of Rumi's story, the historical context. Imagine the world in the 13th century. The Mongol invasion spreading fear and destruction, the Crusades were raging, and political and religious tensions were at a boiling point.
Oh, yeah.
In the midst of this turmoil, Rumi's message of universal love and acceptance offered a radical alternative, a path towards peace and unity.
There's this recurring theme of 40 in the novel that caught my eye. Rumi and Shams spend 40 days in seclusion. There are 40 rules of love. And Ella turns 40. I wonder if there's a deeper meaning behind that number.
Absolutely. The number 40 holds symbolic significance in Islamic mysticism.
Okay.
It often represents a period of transformation, a time of retreat and inner reflection that leads to spiritual awakening.
Okay.
Think of it like a spiritual incubation period.
I like that.
Like, for example, the prophet Moses spent 40 days and nights on Mount Sinai,
Oh, yeah.
receiving the 10 Commandments.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it ties in perfectly with Rumi's own transformation after meeting Shams. It's like those 40 days they spent together were a symbolic crucible, forging a new path for Rumi.
Precisely. It's a reminder that profound change often requires periods of introspection and deep inner work.
One of the things that struck me about Shams is his unconventional approach to spirituality.
Yeah.
There's this scene in the novel where he defends a prostitute from an angry mob.
Right.
Yeah, challenging their hypocrisy and reminding them to look inward instead of judging others.
Yeah.
It's a powerful message that resonates even today.
Shams believed that true piety wasn't about outward appearances or strict adherence to religious rituals.
Right.
It was about cultivating a heart filled with love and compassion, about seeing the divine spark in everyone, even though society often marginalizes.
Right.
This radical inclusivity is a central theme in Rumi's teachings as well.
And then there's the Sema, the whirling dervishes dance. The way Shafak describes it in the novel is just mesmerizing. I can almost feel the energy and spiritual longing in their movements.
The Sema is more than just a dance. It's a spiritual practice, a form of moving meditation that allows the dervishes to connect with the divine through movement and music.
Yeah.
The whirling motion symbolizes the soul's journey towards God, shedding earthly attachments and surrendering to a higher power.
It's incredible how this practice has survived for centuries, and people are still drawn to its beauty and spiritual depth. It makes me wonder if Rumi ever imagined that his teachings would have such a lasting impact.
Rumi's message continues to resonate because it speaks to the deepest longings of the human heart.
Yeah.
It's about the search for love, meaning, and connection with something greater than ourselves.
Right.
And in a world that often feels fragmented and divided, his teachings offer a path towards healing and unity.
The novel doesn't shy away from tragedy either.
No, it doesn't.
Shams eventually disappears, and it's suggested that he might have been murdered. This loss devastates Rumi, but it also leads him to a deeper understanding of love and separation.
Historically, the circumstances surrounding Shams's disappearance are shrouded in mystery. But what's clear is that this event profoundly affected Rumi. His poetry, which was already infused with mystical themes, becomes even more poignant and powerful as he grapples with grief and longing.
Yeah.
His poems often use the metaphor of the lover searching for the beloved, reflecting the soul's yearning for union with the divine.
It's like Shams's absence created a void in Rumi's life that could only be filled by a deeper connection with the divine, a love that transcended physical presence.
Exactly. And that's key takeaway from Rumi's teachings. True love is not limited by time or space.
Right.
It's a force that connects us all, even in separation.
You know, reading the 40 Rules of Love alongside the historical information about Rumi and Sufism is like peeling back layers of an onion. Each layer reveals new insights and connections, and I'm already starting to see how these teachings might apply to my own life.
That's the beauty of engaging with these kinds of sources. It's not just about accumulating knowledge. It's about allowing these ideas to spark something within you to ignite your own personal journey of discovery.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already, but I'm eager to delve deeper into some of these themes, especially the idea of love as a transformative force and how Rumi's teachings have resonated through the centuries.
Absolutely. And perhaps we can explore how some of the specific rules from the 40 Rules of Love reflect core principles of Sufism,
Okay.
a mystical tradition that emphasizes the heart's journey towards God.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
And before we move on, I'd love to know what stood out to you so far from these sources. What's sparking your curiosity?
You know what's really resonating with me is how this combination of historical fact and fiction is helping us understand the impact of Rumi's teachings.
Yeah.
Not just on his contemporaries, but on people across time.
You're right. It's like by following Ella's modern journey alongside Rumi's story, we see how these ideas about love and transformation can be applied to our own lives, no matter our background or beliefs.
Exactly. And one of the things that makes Sufism, the mystical tradition Rumi was part of,
Right.
so powerful is its emphasis on experiencing the divine through the heart, not just through intellectual understanding.
So it's not just about reading scriptures or following rituals. It's about cultivating a direct personal connection with the divine through love and inner transformation.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And Rumi's poetry is full of beautiful expressions of this longing for union with the beloved,
Yeah.
which is a central concept in Sufism.
You know, when you explain it like that, it makes those seemingly complex Sufi ideas feel much more relatable. It's like that universal human desire for connection and love, but taken to a deeper spiritual level.
Precisely. And the Sema, the whirling dervish ceremony, is a powerful embodiment of this yearning for union with the divine.
I'm curious to learn more about how the Sema fits into the Sufi tradition. Is it something that Rumi created, or was it already an established practice?
While Rumi is credited with formalizing and developing the Sema as we know it today,
Okay.
the practice of whirling as a form of spiritual expression has roots in ancient mystical traditions across various cultures.
So, it's like he took this ancient practice and infused it with his own understanding of love and the Sufi path, creating a unique and powerful form of spiritual expression.
Exactly. And the Sema isn't just about the physical act of whirling. Every element from the dervish's clothing to the music and the specific movements is imbued with symbolism,
Right.
reflecting stages of the soul's journey towards God.
That makes sense. Remember how the novel describes the dervishes shedding their black cloaks, symbolizing the death of the ego,
Yes.
and then donning white robes representing spiritual rebirth?
Yes, and the whirling itself represents the soul's ascent towards the divine, shedding earthly attachments and surrendering to a higher power. It's a beautiful and evocative metaphor for the spiritual path.
And the music plays such a crucial role in creating that atmosphere of spiritual longing and ecstasy.
Absolutely. The ni flute, a traditional Sufi instrument, often features prominently in the Sima. Its haunting melody evokes a sense of yearning, of separation from the beloved, which ultimately leads to a deeper longing for union.
It's interesting how Rumi's poetry also uses the metaphor of the lover and the beloved to express this longing for connection with the divine. Can you elaborate on the significance of this imagery in Sufism?
In Sufism, the beloved represents the ultimate source of love, beauty, and truth. The lover, often symbolizing the individual soul, is on a journey to reunite with the beloved, to transcend the limitations of the ego and experience that divine union.
It's like a cosmic love story, with the soul yearning to return to its source, to experience that ultimate oneness.
Precisely. And Rumi's poetry beautifully expresses the joys and sorrows, the longing and ecstasy of that journey.
One of the things that struck me about Shams's teachings, as portrayed in the novel, is his emphasis on living in the present moment. It feels incredibly relevant to our modern lives. We're constantly bombarded with distractions and anxieties about the past or future.
Shams was a firm believer in the transformative power of presence. He constantly reminded Rumi and those around him that the only moment we truly have is the present. Clinging to the past or worrying about the future keeps us from experiencing the fullness of life as it unfolds.
I love that idea. It's like a call to wake up from the slumber of our thoughts and worries and to truly embrace the richness and beauty of each moment.
Exactly. And this idea of presence is also a central tenet in Sufism. Through practices like meditation chanting and the Sima Sufis aim to cultivate a state of heightened awareness, a mindful presence that allows them to experience the divine in every breath, every action, every encounter.
So it's not just about escaping from the world, but about bringing that sense of presence, that awareness, into every aspect of our lives, no matter what we're doing.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And this practice of presence can be incredibly transformative.
Right.
When we're fully present, we're no longer ruled by our thoughts and emotions. We become more open to experiencing the world with fresh eyes, with a sense of wonder and gratitude.
It's like we're stepping out of the autopilot of our routines and truly engaging with life as it unfolds moment by moment.
Exactly. And this kind of mindful presence can have a ripple effect not just on our own lives, but also on the world around us.
Right.
When we approach life with awareness and compassion, we naturally become more mindful of our actions and their impact on others.
I'm curious to explore the concept of the ego in Rumi's teachings.
Okay.
In the novel, Shams is constantly challenging Rumi's ego, encouraging him to let go of his attachment to worldly status and intellectual knowledge.
Right.
It seems like this idea of transcending the ego is a major theme in Sufism.
Absolutely. In Sufism, the ego is seen as a veil that separates us from experiencing our true nature, which is divine and interconnected with all things. The ego clings to a limited sense of self, driven by desires, fears, and attachments.
So it's like the ego is this voice in our heads that's constantly telling us who we are, what we need, and what we should be doing. But it's based on a limited and often distorted perception of reality.
That's a great way to put it. And this egoic voice can create a lot of suffering because it keeps us trapped in cycles of craving and aversion, clinging to what we want and pushing away what we don't want.
And how does Sufism and Rumi's teachings specifically offer a path towards transcending the ego?
Through practices like meditation chanting and the Sima Sufis aim to quiet the ego's chatter and create a space for experiencing a deeper connection with the divine. These practices cultivate humility, compassion, and a willingness to surrender to something greater than ourselves.
It's like we're learning to let go of the ego's grip on our perceptions and to open ourselves to a wider, more expansive view of reality.
Precisely. And Rumi's poetry is full of beautiful expressions of this process of ego death and spiritual rebirth. His poems often describe the soul's journey as a process of purification, of shedding layers of conditioning and attachment until we reach our true essence, which is pure love and light.
That's a powerful image. It makes me think about those moments in life when we experience a sense of transcendence, a feeling of being connected to something larger than ourselves, even if just for a fleeting moment.
Those moments are glimpses into our true nature. reminders that there's more to life than the ego's limited perspective.
Right.
And Rumi's teachings, along with the practices of Sufism, offer a path towards cultivating those experiences more fully and integrating them into our everyday lives.
As we're discussing these ideas, I keep coming back to this idea of transformation. It seems like a central theme in Rumi's teachings,
Yeah.
but also in the way his work has impacted people across time.
Transformation is at the very heart of Rumi's message.
Yeah.
He believed that through love, through a deep connection with the divine, we can transcend our limited sense of self and experience a profound shift in consciousness, a spiritual awakening.
It's like that caterpillar transforming into a butterfly, right? A complete metamorphosis.
Exactly. And Rumi's own life is a testament to that transformative power.
Right.
Remember how he started as a respected scholar steeped in religious tradition?
Right.
But then his encounter with Shams shattered his worldview, leading him to embrace a more ecstatic and experiential form of spirituality.
It's like he was reborn into a new understanding of love and the divine.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And this idea of rebirth, of shedding old identities and embracing a new way of being is woven throughout his poetry.
And what's fascinating is that this transformative power isn't limited to those who lived centuries ago.
Right.
Even today, people from all walks of life find solace and inspiration in Rumi's words.
Yeah.
Often experiencing their own personal transformations through his teachings.
Rumi's message transcends time and culture because it speaks to a universal human longing for connection, for meaning,
Right.
for a love that can heal and transform our lives. His poetry offers a path, a way to tap into that deeper dimension of ourselves and experience a profound shift in consciousness.
One of the things that struck me most about the 40 Rules of Love is how Shafak connects Rumi's teachings to the challenges of modern life.
Yeah.
It's like she's showing us that these ancient wisdom teachings are still relevant today, even in our fast-paced, technology-driven world.
Absolutely. Rumi's emphasis on cultivating inner peace, on living in the present moment, on embracing change, these are all practices that can help us navigate the complexities and anxieties of modern life.
It's like he's offering us an antidote to the constant noise and distractions that surround us.
His poetry invites us to slow down, to turn inward,
Yeah.
to connect with the stillness and silence within, where we can access a deeper source of wisdom and strength.
There's that one rule from Sham's 40 Rules of the Religion of Love that really resonates with me. The path to the truth is a labor of the heart, not of the head. It's like a reminder that true understanding comes not just from intellectual knowledge, but from cultivating a heart filled with love and compassion.
It's a beautiful and profound teaching.
Yeah.
Rumi believed that the heart is the seat of intuition, of wisdom,
Right.
of connection with the divine. He encouraged his followers to make the heart their primary guide,
Yeah.
to trust the wisdom that emerges from a place of love and compassion.
And how do we cultivate that heart-centered wisdom in our own lives? What practices did Rumi recommend?
Rumi emphasized the importance of practices like meditation chanting and the sima, the whirling dance of the dervishes.
Right.
These practices help to quiet the mind, open the heart, and create a space for experiencing a deeper connection with the divine.
It's like creating a sacred space within ourselves, a sanctuary where we can connect to the source of love and wisdom.
Exactly. And Rumi believed that these practices shouldn't be confined to a specific time or place.
Right.
He encouraged his followers to bring that sense of presence, that heart-centered awareness into every aspect of their lives.
So it's not just about sitting on a meditation cushion for an hour a day. It's about integrating those qualities of love, compassion, and presence into our interactions with others, into our work, into our everyday experiences.
Absolutely. Rumi's teachings offer a path towards living a more conscious and heart-centered life, a life where we are guided by love, not fear, where we embrace change with courage and grace, and where we find meaning and purpose in serving others and contributing to a more compassionate and just world. It's so powerful how those teachings can still spark personal change even today.
It really is. Rumi believed that we all have the potential for that kind of transformation, right?
Yeah, he did. He believed it was an inherent part of our spiritual journey.
Right. And his poetry kind of acts as a catalyst, doesn't it?
Yes, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and our connection to the divine.
I found those 40 Rules of the Religion of Love from Shams to be particularly insightful.
Yes.
They really encapsulate this path towards transformation, don't they?
They do. They emphasize love, self-knowledge, and living in the present moment.
Yeah, they really do. And they reflect the core principles of Sufism, right?
They do. They encourage us to move beyond intellectual understanding and embrace a more heart-centered approach to spirituality.
It's like Shams is saying, don't just think about these ideas, feel them, experience them, let them transform you from the inside out.
Exactly. And this emphasis on the heart's wisdom is key in Sufism.
Yeah. Rumi believed that the heart is the seat of intuition,
Yes, he did.
where we can access a deeper understanding of truth and connect with the divine.
Yes.
I love that rule from Shams. Intellect takes you to the door, but it doesn't take you into the house.
That's a good one.
It's so good. He's saying that knowledge is important, but it's only through the heart that we can truly experience the divine.
Such a good analogy. Rumi saw the intellect as a tool, but the heart was the true guide on the spiritual path.
Right. Trust your intuition, he says.
Yeah.
Your inner wisdom.
Let go of the need to overanalyze.
Yeah, exactly.
Or intellectualize your spiritual experiences.
How can we cultivate this heart-centered wisdom in our own lives? What did Rumi recommend?
Meditation, chanting the Sima.
Yeah. Those quiet the mind, open the heart, create a space to experience a deeper connection with the divine.
Exactly.
We're creating a sacred space within ourselves.
Yes, we are.
Where we can connect with that source of love and wisdom.
Exactly. And Rumi believed that these practices shouldn't be confined to a specific time or place.
So true. It's about integrating those qualities into every aspect of our lives.
Exactly. Embody those principles in every moment.
Right.
Let them guide your actions.
Yes.
Shape the way you relate to yourself and the world.
It all comes back to transformation.
It does.
A more expansive and fulfilling way of being grounded in love, wisdom, and connection with the divine.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And this transformation isn't just about personal growth. It's about contributing to a more just and compassionate world.
I've been thinking about the challenges we face today. Conflict division, environmental destruction. It feels overwhelming sometimes. But Rumi's message is hopeful, isn't it?
It is. It reminds us that change is possible, love is powerful,
Yeah.
a force for healing and transformation.
Rumi's teachings encourage us to cultivate love and compassion.
Yes.
Within ourselves, our relationships, our
Yeah.
communities,
The world.
out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing. There is a field. I'll meet you there.
Oh, I love that quote. It's such a great quote. It's a call to move beyond judgment and division.
Yes.
Find that common ground.
Connect from a place of love
Exactly.
and understanding.
The path toward healing and transformation begins within each of us.
It does. When we cultivate love and compassion in our own hearts, it radiates outwards. It influences the world in positive ways.
Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Keep exploring Rumi's poetry and teachings. Allow his words to inspire you, challenge you, guide you. Remember, the path of the heart is a lifelong adventure. What you seek is seeking you. The love, the wisdom, the connection you long for are already within you.
That's beautiful. Thank you for joining us on this journey into Rumi's teachings.
It was my pleasure.
We hope this deep dive has inspired you to explore the transformative power of love in your own life. And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into a new and fascinating world.